excited. Time for us to go viral. Friend of the show, Kendrick Perkins, recently tweeted out this video of his 8-year-old son, Kingston, bawling. So his son's nickname is Stone, perhaps because he's already mastered the stone face. And yes, like Dad, he wants to play in the NBA someday.
Look at this guy. I mean, look at him.
Take what's his. Take what's mine.
Get off me, little guy.
That's not fair.
That's fair.
No, that's...
Oh, that's fair. Hey, little fella, you need to have 4 points of contact with that basketball or else you're going to get it snatched from you by old Stone.
That was bully ball.
8 years old, so he's a 2nd or 3rd grader. I love it. 2nd grader. I'm sorry, Jenna said that. My apologies. Look at it.
Oh,
look, he got some swagger.
Stone.
He's got some swagger.
Stone. I love it.
I love the nickname.
Hey, Stone, by the way, tell your pops he still owes me $250. Still waiting on that, Perk. I love you, Perk, but
you want to rope the 8-year-old into your dad's bed.
Hey, man, I'll be honest. I don't want problems with none of the Perkins family. I install the 8-year-old as a minus 160 favorite over me if we had to scrap, but I would listen, Kingston, I'll cut you in on 20%. That's $50. You can get a lot of gummy bears with that. You can get some, I don't know.
That's a good deal.
It's a good deal. Still waiting on that. Perk.
Look at that stride behind you.
Oh, yeah.
That's a kid who knows what he wants. Time for stories to start your morning. Big night for Luka Doncic, Nick's 3rd favorite player in the NBA. Went
That's
off
correct.
38 points. I know. I sit next to you every day. 38 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists in a win over Chicago. Luka now has more 30-point triple-doubles this season than the rest of the NBA combined. Nick, how impressive was Doncic last night? Did he move up to number 2 in your book?
No. It's LeBron, Giannis, and Luka, who also, by the way, by next season might be the 3 best players in basketball, LeBron, Giannis, and Luka. Some would argue right now they're already the 3 best players in basketball. Here's the most impressive thing about Luka's 38, 11, and 10, Greg. It's not surprising at all. He is a few tenths of a point away from averaging this year. Right. 30, 10, and 9. So 38, 11, and 10. It's only a slightly higher scoring night than his average night. He's been sensational. He had the scary ankle injury where he missed a little bit of time, but since then, he's been the exact guy he was before that, which is already a top 10 player in this league.
Clutch gene, in and out. From the start to the finish. I love everything about his game, and I think what's most impressive is that he's shooting 47% from the field, and we see where he shoots from.
Yep.
We see the type of contested shots that he takes, and it doesn't matter. He knows how to take the shots and make the shots, and you gotta love a guy like that. I love everything that you said, his triple-double.
His step-back game is unbelievable, too. Aside from Harden, he's the best in the league at that.
Hands down.
All right, on to the NFL now, and the Cowboys have themselves a new head coach. According to our own Jay Glazer, Mike McCarthy has agreed to a 5-year deal with Dallas, making him the 9th head coach in franchise history. Greg, did they get this right?
They definitely got it right. They got it right, and it's not a safe... It wasn't a safe pick. It was the right pick. They understand what they're looking for. An NFL experienced head coach. His resume speaks for itself offensively. He's dealt with high prestige quarterback play, and so he's going to be able to have the opportunity to do that with Dak Prescott in this offense. He will have a running game, hopefully, and then defensively, all he has to do is allow Mike Nolan to do what he does, and because they have the talent. I like Mike McCarthy at the helm.
The most important thing for me for the Cowboys was they hire someone who had been an NFL head coach before, so they did that. He also, a little different personality on the sidelines than Jason Garrett, a little more fiery on the sidelines as far as either whether it's with the team or more so with the officials than Garrett. I think that'll be a good change of pace for the Cowboys. I do have questions about the Packers looked like they were going this way last year. Their third, and by the way, former Patriot Logan Ryan with the pick 6 to end that football game. This is how it goes. And people can say, well, they just won a Super Bowl last year. How can you say it's over? Well, let's go to every dynasty in NFL history. The Packers won 3 straight pro football championships, 1 pre-Super Bowl era in the first 2 Super Bowls. They didn't make another conference championship game until Brett Favre got there. The next one was the Dolphins. Dolphins made 3 straight Super Bowls, winning 2 in a row. They didn't make another conference championship game, not Super Bowl, conference championship game for nearly a decade. The Steelers won 4 out of 6 Super Bowls. Over the next 13 years, they made the conference championship once. The Niners won 5 in 14 years and were this close seemingly every single year. Then it was 15 years with one conference championship game. The Cowboys won 3 out of 4. Haven't been back to a conference championship game since. The Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls since that last Super Bowl. Have not been back to a conference championship game since. It is not that when it's over, it's over. And whether Brady's there or not, what they will not have next year is elite quarterback play. What they will not have next year is high-level quarterback play with or without Tom Brady. The Manning, Brady, Big Ben era of the AFC is done. The Lamar, Deshaun, Patrick Mahomes era is upon us. One of those 3 young men is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl for the first time, and those 3 guys will trade it off over the next, I would imagine, 15 years, similar to how Manning, Brady, and Big Ben did over the previous 18. Those 3 guys have been to 16 of the last 18 Super Bowls in the AFC, pardon me. I don't know that Patty, Lamar, and Deshaun will have that level of success, but it's going to be something close to it. So with or without Tom Brady, to me, Greg, we saw the end of it at the final day of the regular season and officially the end of it this past Saturday.
So I have a kind of a backup question. What are we really defining as their dynasty? Is it just them competing for Super Bowls, being in Super Bowls? Because if you're saying that their dynasty is over because they won't be competitive and they won't make the playoffs, I completely disagree. I agree with what you're saying as far as elite quarterback play, as far as top, upper echelon quarterback play. No, that's not what they're going to have. But this team, when Tom Brady entered into the fold, was built on defense.
Yep.
This is how they won.
This season was built on defense.
This season was built on defense. They just faded in the end, which we hadn't seen in prior Patriots teams. So with that being said, I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over because when you've created a culture, and we all know this, in corporate, in sport, wherever you are, when you've created a culture, you have the mindset and the mentality, and those within that culture have the mindset and the mentality and the makeup of plug and play. And what Bill Belichick has created is that culture where it's not about one individual, which is why we see them have so much turnover on defensively, personnel, and we say they don't have this, they don't have that. Well, what they always had is a coach that understands what we're trying to do. I have a vision, I have a strategy, and I need guys that are going to be willing to execute it. And if he continues to get that, they will continue to be successful. Now, there are teams that are coming up. The Jets are going to be better. The Bills are already better. The Dolphins are going to be better. And these teams, and that's not mentioning anyone outside of their division. That's just their division.
Yep.
And so I don't think that they're going to be Super Bowl contenders, but I definitely think they're going to be viable. In their stint since Brady, they've only missed 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, 08, 09, and 10. Outside of that, that's their longest window without going to a Super Bowl.
So the question, Nick, was, is the Patriots dynasty over even if Tom Brady stays? If Tom Brady stays and their defense was able to play like they did this year, except finish out the season and stay that competitive and that good and that elite, can't that dynasty maintain?
Yeah, but that defense was a figment of our imagination. The defense, yes, if the defense plays the way they did the first 8 weeks, which was on pace to be the single greatest defense in NFL history. And the reason that people did not want to believe it could be the single greatest defense in NFL history is because they don't have the horses. How can you be the best defense in NFL history when you do not have a single elite pass rusher? When you do not have a single, just amazing run-stuffing nose tackle, or a great safety, or one linebacker that terrifies you. They had one player on their defense that belongs in the discussion of, oh, that guy's one of the best in the league. Stephon Gilmore. For sure. Exactly right. All the other, we were talking about the 0-2 Bucks the other day because John Lynch is a Hall of Fame finalist. And with respect to John Lynch, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. And the reason I said that was, But he's a Hall of Fame finalist. He was the 5th best player on that defense. That's the type of defense we're talking about. You have Warren Sapp, you have Derek Brooks, you have Simeon Rice, you have Rondé Barber, and then you have 4th or 5th in line, a guy who might make the Hall of Fame at safety in John Lynch, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
The 2015 Broncos, you had Aqib Talib and Chris Harris, both at their peak. You had I think DeMarcus Ware was on the team, but I know Von Miller was on that team, who was the single best defensive player in football at the time. You had all this weaponry. And so this idea of if the Patriots get back to where the defense and special teams outscore the opposing team's offense, then sure, then plug in it's Jared Stidham, and you can make a Super Bowl run. But that defense, it's not that it coincidentally faded down the stretch. They started playing real teams. And once they started playing real teams, they went from this statistically, historically great unit to a very, very good defense. In the playoff game, they allowed 13 points. The pick six wasn't on them. They're a very good defense. Very good is not good enough to make a Super Bowl if your offense is below average.